My name is Vernell Bennett Fairs. I'm the proud president of LeMoyne-Owen College, Memphis, Tennessee's only HBCU, celebrating 160 years of excellence this year. Thank you for joining. Yes, let's hear it. That's good stuff. Thank you for joining us for this kickoff of the investiture events, a technology revolution symposium. This activity fits nicely with the investiture theme, pure imagination. Because when it comes to technology, the possibilities are boundless. How apropos to begin the investiture festivities with an activity that spotlights technology. After all, Memphis, also known as the Black Silicon Valley, is a hotspot for Black tech innovators. It has the highest number of Black IT professionals in the country per capita. LeMoyne-Owen College's program of distinction, Cybersecurity, is one of 6 in the state and amongst less than 10 HBCUs with a cybersecurity program that is certified as a Center of Academic Excellence by the Department of Homeland Security. LeMoyne-Owen College stands ready to not only lead, but also join this revolution. Many thanks to Mr. Tony Sharp for loaning us his expertise this afternoon. Welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Madam President. It's good to have a president that believes in technology so we can move faster and forward. For you young people, this is an opportunity for you to learn more about cybersecurity you probably ever have. Because Tony Sharp is amazing, one of the foremost leaders in cybersecurity in the country. We have some incredible speakers like Mr. Nathan and Mr. Anthony Perry, and Mr. Richard Baroa, who was former CIO of Fox in Atlanta, who now will be on screen. His plane got canceled, so he can't make it. And I thought I was going to have to do it. I'm glad I don't. So he's going to be patching in, and he'll be able to tell you a lot more about network security. So that now that you've scanned everything and you know the program, our volunteers in the back, they have on those nice tie-dye shirts. Would you raise your hand, volunteers and staff? So if they're going to guide you where you need to go. And if you need anything, please ask one of them. But I just want to thank you for coming. And I want to thank Grizzlies Prep. I want to thank the industry professionals who are here from multiple different industries, from RJ Young and other places, Convergent. We thank you for supporting what we're trying to do here at LeMoyne-Owen, the Cybersecurity Center. But I'm not going to tell you about it. I'm going to let a student tell you about it. Her name is Denise Timmons. She's one of our magic service desk workers. She's incredible. She's also the president of the Collegiate 100. And she is going to let you know how the cybersecurity works and who we are. But before I do that, I must introduce Dr. Denise Farapy. She is the founder and executive director of the Cybersecurity Center. She's the reason we got the NSA and DHL certification. She's the main reason. And so here. So I want you to do this, and it's for my young people, my young men, because it's all young men, all young African-American men. One of the things that introduced me to technology was having the opportunity to be exposed like this. I found out that technology was more than just the phone, the rotary dial when I was growing up. I found out it was more than the Atari I was playing. I found out it was more. So what I want you to do is open your minds, because cybersecurity is more than you probably think it is. You're going to find out, especially when you talk to Mr. Perry about IoT. So I can't wait to see how you look when you finish, and the bright eyes as I was once when I was in 8th grade. Thank you. And now, Danisha, I turn it over to you.
Hello, I'll be presenting about the cybersecurity department. I am part of the Cybersecurity Center at LeMoyne-Owen College. I'll be going into my senior year, and I just love the program, so let's get started. sorry. Okay. As Dr. Bennett Fair, we are one of 9 of HBCUs that has this certification, as well as we're one of 6 in Tennessee with this certification. We are certified by the NSA and the Department of Homeland Security. We received our certification in 2019 through Dr. Farapy. Okay. We do several things in the community to engage our community around LeMoyne-Owen College, such as Black Girls Code. We do an annual LOC month, where we do different LOC Cybersecurity month, where we engage the students on campus in cybersecurity. We did where in cybersecurity is Carmen San Diego. We have a Halloween spectacular, as well as we also help teachers with Gen Cyber 2020 Teacher Camp. It was to help teachers to be able to teach cybersecurity, as well as we have a Harris series. It was about social media. So we do several things in the community to engage teachers, students, and everyone around the Memphis area. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. What just happened here? Okay. We our research and conference presentations. We have several different research and conferences, such as like this. We have this symposium going on today. We have the I'm so sorry, guys. Something just happened here. Okay. Okay. We had the ADMI. It presents on emerging learning. The research explores teaching students about bias using virtual reality technology, as well as we had the Cyber Data Con. It presents on medical security. Its research is about security in medicine, such as insulin pumps, wearable heart monitors, and it detects when something goes wrong. So we can use cybersecurity in medicine as well, and we did a conference on that. Also, as well as we partnership with various different organizations. We partnership with HBCU C2 Community Center. The partnership is with Tennessee State University to expose students to coding and creativity via Apple products. We had a summer camp, as well as we partnership with Black Girl Code doing this. We have the EC Coalition academic partner. LOC is an academic partner to provide cybersecurity training. We had the IBM University partner, the Cisco Academy, Microsoft Academy, Oracle Academy, Public Interest Technology University Network. It provides a membership with people working in the industry to provide building blocks to our students and community to explore and learn about technology. And it gives them the building blocks to take it out in the world and help others. Okay, we have several long-term goals. One of our main goals is to get a LOC Technology Innovation and Research Center. The center will be on LOC campus. It will have makerspace, research laboratories, technology-enriched classrooms, conference spaces, as well as we would love to get more grant funding and programs for K-9 teachers to be able to teach cybersecurity and computer science in the classroom to their students. Okay, thank you. That'll be all.
Thank you, Danisha, and thank you for working through the technology challenge that we have. Civil Rights Museum is going to work with us to get that ready for our next speakers, so we can be on point. She brought up something as we get ready to move to our workshops, and I'll let you know what those are, and then the volunteers will take you where you need to go. Is that she mentioned Technology Innovation Research Center, and thanks to the board, and thanks to the president, and thanks to all of the LOC family as we prepare to move in that direction to build a Technology Innovation Research Center in the heart of South Memphis, the 38126 area code. Many of you may reside, so we can show that in the heart of South Memphis, that technology can be the catalyst for change. So as we prepare to move to our next room, the next room is the Lynx Educational Center. It is where we'll have Richard Baroa, who is the Chief Information Security Officer for DTXT. He also works with us in doing some security modifications, some security strategy. And then in this particular room, we'll have Mr. Anthony Perry, who will be presenting on IoT security. IoT, information, Internet of Things, is a powerful phenomenon that has swept the nation. It's been around for a while, but it's taken a new turn, and I'm glad that he's here to do that. Afterwards, we'll have in the second room, we'll have Dr. Denise Farapy, who'll be down in the Lynx Center, which is downstairs, which again, the volunteers will take you. And then here we have Locksmith Nathan, who will present on K-12 learning in the cybersecurity space. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Well, I introduce him. Dr. Blakemore, who is part of the cybersecurity staff, Jerome Blakemore, let's give him a hand. And Dr. Zena Parker, who's in the educational side, who worked with Dr. Farapy, who would help to make sure this happened. All right. Now, for those who are going to stay in this room with Mr. Perry, we're going to do it this way. We're going to take this side of the room. We're going to have you stay. All right. If you don't mind, stay here. This side of the room, we're going to have you go downstairs with our volunteers to be with Mr. Baroa. Or President Taylor, you can stay here. So, all right. So, but for our young people and for our industry professionals, it's going to be on network and internet security, and then we'll switch back up after on the next session. So take your time. We've got about 5 minutes before we start on the next one. If you have any questions, please ask any of the volunteers or ask myself or any of the IT staff. Thank you.
for you guys.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Try that again. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I am extremely excited to be here. This is a great day. I want to tell you a little bit about myself, a little bit about how I came to this role in security, which is interesting because when we talk about all this security stuff, this didn't even exist when I was in school. It was not a major. I don't want to date myself, but for the most part, the internet did not exist. So, but let's talk a little bit about OT and IoT security. I'll give you a little bit of a brief description of what that is, but really want to talk, and it can be as interactive as everyone would like. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. So I'm going to try to see if the clicker will work. Not quite. We can go ahead and go to the next slide, please. There'll be a quick introduction, and then you can stay there. We're going to quickly go through this one. There'll be a quick introduction, and then we'll talk a little bit about cybersecurity and what that means, and we'll talk about OT, IoT security, give you guys a good definition of what that means and some of the challenges associated with it. We can go ahead and go to the next slide. All right, so a little bit about me. From an education perspective, I have a BS in electrical engineering technology from Southern Tech in Marietta, Georgia. I'm originally from South Georgia, very rural environment. I also have an MBA with a general concentration from the University of Memphis. So I started at FedEx back in 1994. So most of the room wasn't even born then. Moving here from Atlanta to Memphis, and I've worked from customer service technology, network engineering, and I've spent the last 20 some odd years in information security. I've been married for 24 years to my lovely wife who's here. And also she attended LeMoyne-Owen. She's a musician. So I had to be sure to mention that. And I also have 3 boys. So I have 3 boys, 2 in college and 1 in high school. So very apropos that I'm here speaking to mostly young men. And currently I'm a director in OT, IoT security at FedEx. You can go ahead and go to the next slide. So now that the preliminaries are over, let's talk a little bit about how I got here. Just like today, sometime maybe it had to be back in 1980, probably 83, 84, a professor came to our science classroom from Georgia Tech and showed us lasers and gave us a demonstration of lasers. It was great. I really enjoyed it. And it was at that time that I decided I really want to do something in technology. I really like Georgia Tech. I want to do those things. And I worked to do that. Now, not all of us are going to have that revelation immediately, but understanding that this field and what it means and the capabilities of being in IT is tremendous. From there, going to college, getting able to actually work in the field and do things was great. So the neat thing I liked about it is the multiplicity of things that I've done, from working with computers, working with fiber optics, working with how you get power into your house, you name it, we did it and learned that in school. So it was a great opportunity for me to do that, go to school, and then be able to have the opportunity to work for a company like FedEx and move here to Memphis. So that's my story, a little bit of my story. But as I said, some almost 40 years ago, I was sitting here just like you guys were, listening to someone talk about technology and realized that, hey, that's something that I'm very interested in. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about Internet of Things. So what is Internet of Things? Well, it started back in 1982 when the internet was barely started. The internet started out a lot of military and government type agency were interconnecting and grew to what you know as the internet, where you can't imagine life as being not connected. Well, they took a vending machine, as I understand it, and connected it to the network. And with this, what they were able to do is tell the temperature and how many drinks were actually in the machine. So that was the beginning of the Internet of Things, which has expanded tremendously. I believe the number of devices that we think are on the internet from the Internet of Things now today, well, I believe it was somewhere around 27 billion back in the early 2000s. Now that number they expect will be over 50 billion. What does that number mean? They actually think that for each individual on Earth, there will be somewhere around 10 devices for each of us. 10 devices, that's an Internet of Things. Now, what is Internet of Things to you today? How many people have an Alexa or work with Alexa? Okay. How many devices? Give me an idea of some of the devices that you have that connect to the internet. Your phone. What else? Your laptop. TV. That's a game console. Smartwatches. Refrigerator. There we go. Microwave. Go ahead, young man. What was that? Toaster. Okay. Smartphones. Okay. Smart home, all that. So when you look at it, what do these devices do for us?
Make life easier.
How do they make life easier?
Like for example, like if you go on your phone or computer, you could buy something that you want.
Buy something that like games and
And you don't have to go to the store.
correct.
The overall meaning is assistance.
Hmm.
The overall thing it does is assist you with certain things.
Okay. No doubt. Young man. Picking up food. So can you imagine your life today without these things? You know, I think about from a technology perspective, if I brought a rotary dial phone in here to be a challenge to see how many of you could actually use it. Or some people in here are familiar with this. You hear a song on the radio and you want to hear that song again, and you want to record that song and hear it again. How do you do that today? Apple Music. Well, back when some of us were growing up, you had to figure out, well, if you wanted to go buy it, you had to figure out who sang it and where you could go to a physical store and buy it. Or if you had like a cassette recorder, you could go and you could take your cassette recorder and record it. But guess what? For those of us that live in a house with brothers and sisters and everybody, you had to try to get everybody to be quiet because you didn't want to hear somebody saying, hey, come eat dinner in the middle of your recording. When we look at technology and we look at it today, that's your phone in a few minutes, correct? So, right, these devices do help us. They do help us tremendously. Those are the things that we talked about on the consumer side. Now, on the OT side, operational technology, what we do is companies like FedEx in our sorting, if you've seen some pictures of our sorting environments, and we have those labels that have like scan codes on them, and as they go through the sorting process, it can read that information and make a decision about where it should be routed. That technology for companies is huge. So what do you hear? So we've talked about a little bit about IoT and what it is, and you guys have given me some examples. I'm giving you some examples on the industry side. So pretty much everything that you have, I will guarantee you, has been touched by either OT or IoT technology. Manufacturing facilities. Did somebody have to did you get here in a vehicle? Okay. Those vehicles have a lot of sensors and a lot of things. Most of those vehicles today are connected to the internet. Did you have to have gasoline for that? So there's a pipeline that goes and gets gas and things delivered. So those type technologies are there. Those type. So these technologies that we're talking about are all in the background of your life. It's almost, I see it almost like the Matrix. I don't know if you guys saw that movie, but if you can take the pill and really see how things are in reality, imagine if you could take that pill and see everything electrical and all the things that are communicating, from my watch to my phones to cameras that are here watching us to you name it. Now, those are all interesting things, but tell me, what else do you know about that? What do you see on the news quite often about those devices, about computers? What do you hear about that? What's in the news?
They're always increasing in price.
They're increasing in pricing. Anybody else? They're running people's lives. Okay. Okay. New iterations. Keep going. Why are we here today? Why are we here today? The hacking of technology. So what is hacking? Yes, sir. Okay. What else? What is somebody else's definition of hacking? Someone that what? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what we get with hacking and what we get with individuals that are doing things is they are attempting to break in and get access to that device, to get information, to do things like that. So one of the things that we end up doing, my job, is to make sure that the assets of FedEx are protected. So let's talk about your home and having these devices. Are you concerned about security? For those that have game consoles, do you want your games and your history to go away? Huh? Huh? Would you like that? So when we look at the things that we have, we talked about all these tools that give us a lot of, they make it life easier, but there's a security part of that. And that's what we do when we talk about cybersecurity and how we protect those things. So imagine that Alexa. Do you think it's listening to you all the time? Not supposedly, but but so from a security perspective, is that not important to you? That game console that some of them have cameras and speakers and microphones on? Can you imagine if it's listening to you? Your TV that's connected. What if it was listening to you? The watch you have on. What if a hacker could get access and do that? What if your Apple account, I could get on there and I could take your money? I could take your information. I could take it and learn things about you. That is what we in cybersecurity try to stop. So for example, there's a camera there. What if somebody has access to that camera? So not only do we want to stop from a security perspective, them getting access to these devices for the purpose of doing what the device does, as in seeing me from that camera, but that camera can also be used to launch an attack because it's a device there. So who has a Windows PC? Who works with Windows? Do you know what patching is? What happens once a month with Microsoft? Do they send out patches and you have to patch your machine? Everybody's aware of that? Pretty standard, right? Well, how do you patch that camera? Have you patched your, have you put a patch on your Echo, Amazon Echo? What about your game console? What about your refrigerator? What about your toaster? So with those things, just like with Windows, it's pretty established, but with those other devices, it's not. So what does that mean? In today's world, from a computer perspective, if I wrote something 5 years ago, do you think it's secure today? As fast as things move? If I wrote something 5 years ago, do you think it's secure today? But if that Amazon device has been sitting there for the last 5 years and never been patched, what do you think? It's vulnerable. It's exactly vulnerable. So those are the things that we're working to try to do from a security perspective, is ensuring that those assets, those things are secure, which has all kind of things that we end up doing, from setting the standards. So what I'll say is when you buy cameras, you will buy this type of camera. So you go and you look at FedEx and our facilities, we probably have, honestly, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 to 20,000 cameras. Do you want them from all different manufacturers, or do you want them from one manufacturer? And do you want to verify that, be able to verify that they're patched? Correct. But unfortunately, the way things have grown in the past is you go buy one type of camera, you go buy another type of camera, you go buy another type of camera. So what we try to do is set standards. So everybody, hey, if you're going to buy a camera, this is the kind of camera you're going to buy. We're going to work with the people that make them and make sure they're patched appropriately. We're going to watch the industry communications to try to see if there's a exploit out for that camera. Have you not seen some of those where they, hey, we know in Windows there's this exploit, we need to patch it. So we're always watching and listening, trying to see, oh, this thing has a problem, we need to patch it. So setting those type standards, making sure we're communicating, making sure we understand what's vulnerable and what's not vulnerable, making sure things stay up to date, that's extremely important in the world of cybersecurity. Whether you're doing OT, IoT security, working with phones, working with the internet, working with people working from home, you're only as good as the security of the devices around you. And that's all devices, no matter how small. So think about that from not only your personal perspective, but also think about that from an industry perspective. So, like I said, when you look at all of those devices around you, understanding that from a cybersecurity perspective, what's the status of that device? Is it patched? Is it secure? That's what we do in cybersecurity. So are there any questions? I guess I've got a few more minutes. 5 minutes? So we got 5 minutes, so I'll take questions. Yes, sir. Sure, there's a lot. The neatest thing about the technologies, and especially even in our areas, Kevin here works with me, there are a lot of different areas, so it just depends on what you want to do. So in cybersecurity, one of the big things can be audit. So there's a CSIA, an audit. They are working with several operating systems. They're working with certain systems. One of the big things for us is a CISSP, which is very general, but it really shows your due diligence. It's probably the gold standard to say general interest in security. But it just really depends on which area you want to concentrate in. So young men, as you think about it and getting a degree and going to school, you think about it kind of narrowing your focus. I'll challenge you to say it makes it even wider. I'll give you an example. You have to constantly be willing to learn, because the things that I do today at my job, that Kevin and I do at our jobs today, did not exist when we went to school. I did not go to school for these things. I had to learn them on the job. So the thing is constant learning. Don't think that I'm out of school and I'm done. No, the learning is just started. Your formal education is quite a common foundation, but depending on the job you go to, there's a whole nother world of learning. So just be ready to be lifelong learners. 53 years old, still learning. Any other questions quickly? Yes, sir. It appeared on YouTube? Okay. And you didn't want it to? Well, and security and understanding these devices and this technology, there's a whole nother realm of social media and the things that are there. And the things I'll tell you, young people, is just be sensitive of what you're putting out there, because it never goes away. It never goes away. And I assure you that companies are looking. Companies are looking. I had a son that just got hired by Shelby County Schools. They went and they looked at his social media. So just remember that. So the good thing about the internet is extremely, a lot of good things that you can do there, but there are a lot of bad things that happen there. So take it and use it as a tool that it's meant for. When you look at it, when we go back and get you look at Star Wars. We were talking last night about Star Wars and all the things that they had. Look at it today, the communicator, all the things that they could do. Other than transporting someone, I don't know what I can tell you that we can't do. This thing can be an EKG for my heart and tell me about my heart rate, my oxygen level. Look at technology and what it can do. But trust me, if you don't use it right, it can be very detrimental. Yes, sir.
You said that because of the internet, it won't go away. But what about if you have VPN?
The VPN, a VPN will encrypt it in transit, but that's only between two devices, depending on what's on that machine. And inherently with these social media things is you trust that company that did that. Do you really trust it? And you see things all the time that people break into. If I could break into the iCloud and see your account, what would I see? That's happened to celebrities. It happens all the time. So therefore, understand this, and I'm going to leave you with this. The best thing I can tell you about those things is assume no privacy. What does that mean? That everything I put out there will be seen. So if you go by that, hey, they saw my pictures. No big deal. No big deal. They were just pictures of family reunions and my dog. Just always assume no privacy, and whatever you put there, whatever you say, whatever you text, whatever you do is public record. All right. Thank you very much for the time. I definitely appreciate it. I'm definitely impressed in being here at LeMoyne and seeing the good things that are going on. And for our Grizzlies prep and other schools that are here, thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you for sharing the information with these young people. I don't think I need a mic. Do I need a mic, Gavin? I do. Okay. Either one? So what we're about to do is going to transition. Now, we're not going to transition everybody because we want to make sure that we have enough room because it's a little tighter down there than it is up here. So what I'm going to ask is for these young men here to go down. So we're going to, well, I think Sylvester, Mr. Fulton's there. I got Mr. Harper back there, can take you there. And actually everybody else to stay here, and we're going to bring the other young men back up. All right? They've asked good questions. I hope y'all ask good questions. They're asking a lot of questions about network, internet, and security. So I hope y'all ask a lot of them from IoT. Because the next person we're going to bring up is the Chief Information Officer for Memphis Shelby County Schools. And I've been working with Lakshmi for a number of years and respect who she is and what she does and how she does things. And she's an incredible technologist. And so I can't wait. So we're going to get prepared. We've got about 2 minutes. Lakshmi, get ready. And we're going to transition. And I can't wait to hear what she has to say about what affects you as children K through 12. All right. So I know she had a lot of knowledge of applications, and I know what she's been doing now as a CIO. You're going to enjoy. So let's take a 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll get other group. We're going to switch up. Okay. All right. Excuse me, can I have your attention? Thank you. We're getting ready for our next session. You were very attentive downstairs, asked good questions. I'll ask you to do the same thing. Remember, open mind, opportunity for learning. And now you're going to be in the capable hands, the most capable hands of Locksmith Nathan, who is the Chief Information Officer of Memphis Shelby County Schools. And I'll let her just talk a little bit more about herself. And let me say this, I had the pleasure of working with Locksmith for several years, and she made my life easy. I must say that. She did a great job running the application team, work with me. So I'm telling you now, you're going to get a great wealth of information.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott. Good morning. It's 11 o'clock, so we're still morning. Good morning, students. Did we have a big breakfast? No, we did not. Okay, let's try it one more time. Good morning, students. Okay, that's better. Do we have all high school students or high school, middle school, 8th grade? Going into high school, I love it. That's the interaction that I wanted. Wonderful. So what do you want to, let's make it a little bit interactive. What do you want to get out of this discussion that we've got today? So I'll give you one answer to that. When I was in college, high school, college, one professor told me, there is no such question as a bad question. There's no such question as a stupid question, okay? Don't worry about what your friends think of you when you ask a question, okay? Always remember that. When you have professionals standing in front of you asking, what do you want to know? Just ask away. Because once you start work, people are going to think you know all the answers. And then only Google is your best friend after that. You can't ask anybody, you're just going to check on everything. And Mr. Perry is laughing because he can totally relate that. So we'll make it very interactive. Ask any question that you want and walk away with at least one thing that you're going to use all through your high school, college, or whatnot. So as Mr. Charles said, my name is Lakshmi. I am the Chief Information Officer for Memphis Shelby County Schools. So as students, you all realized how difficult the pandemic was, how difficult it was working virtually, getting a computer from your school, working on your computer, learning as though your teacher was giving you a personal attention. But you know what? You all did great. And let's give you all a big round of applause on that, because I want to appreciate our children on how well you all did with technology. Some of you didn't have technology before, some of you got new technology, but you all did great during the pandemic. And now we're all back to school, right? But what did the pandemic do in terms of cybersecurity, right? Every company, every organization, the speaker before, I don't know if you all were in a different room before, we threw a whole lot of computers and systems out for people to use, people to work from home, got internet connections. What that did was it opened up cybersecurity risks around the world. It made everybody very, very vulnerable, and that's what we're going to talk about. So we'll also talk about a little bit about your careers, because how many of you want to aspire to be in IT? Nobody? Nobody wants to have an IT? I see one hand. No, you don't? Are we going to change your mind today? Information technology. I'm sorry? Coding is IT. Of course, coding is IT. Okay, coding. How many of you want to do coding? Good. How many of you want to do robotics? Okay. So all of that comes under IT. So when you talk about IT, IT is a very, very broad general term, information technology. It includes coding. It includes network, like how different computers are connected, how the internet passes through them, phone systems, IoT stuff that we talked about earlier. Coding is a big part. Robotics is a big part. All of that comes under information technology. So I'm so happy a lot of people are looking at going into IT or considering going into IT. But I'll tell you one thing. After we went through the pandemic and so many people started to work from home, all the computers that are at home, mom and dad working from home, and all these things that you read about, right? the number of IT jobs increased threefold. There are three times as many IT jobs that are out there, and they pay really, really well. So think about it and start to think of IT is very interesting, and IT is very modern, and it's always cutting edge. There's so much to learn. So I'll leave you with that to say that's a great career for you to go and talk to your IT teacher, your professor, who not, and help them tell you more about career in IT. Okay, so we're here to talk about cybersecurity because we talked about all the risks about so much technology out there and what happened by putting out all of the technology. What is a cybersecurity crime? Does anybody know what a cybersecurity crime is? Go ahead. Any one person. Stand up, please, so that we can see your face. Yes, please. Yes. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Go ahead. Yeah? Yes. That's a crime. Yes. You didn't eat breakfast, young man, did you? All right, come on. Up, come on. Speak up. Speak up. Yeah. Yes. Perfect. Yeah. A computer gets hacked into, your personal information is stolen, your credit card is stolen, all those crimes, right? Cybersecurity crimes cost $6 trillion annually in 2022. I'm throwing out a big number. You may not be, that's a lot of zeros. What does that mean? They need a lot of cybersecurity people to be able to work to mitigate all of that $6 trillion of loss. 93% of the breach happens within minutes, and they're not even discovered. And that's why we need cybersecurity people to be able to discover those breaches that happen where your credit card information is stolen or your computer is hacked and all that stuff. So there's a lot of statistics in here that talks about the different cybersecurity crimes that are happening around the world and how spammers come and impersonate. So how often have you had, your parents might have said, you get a phone call that somebody's posing to be somebody, right? Have you all heard that? Somebody's calling to say, oh, you won a trip to go to Bahamas and all you need to do is press this number, right? That's a spam to get your money, right? And you click a link, sometimes you get an email that says, click the link. That's a spam. They're trying to take your information. Those are some of the examples. Same thing. Okay. So see the number of cybersecurity crimes that happened in the United States just last year? All over the country. These are number of cybersecurity crimes that happened just to the school district, K through 12 school district. Okay? So if you see a yellow pin, the purple pin, yellow pin, blue pin, green pin, and red pin. The purple talks about breach of data. The data, somebody coming into your computer, stealing your data. Yellow is the ransomware attack. Does anybody know what a ransomware attack is? Go ahead. Perfect. Perfect. Somebody takes you, holds you hostage, and unless you pay, I'm not giving it. In this particular case, they take away your computer, they take away your data. You can't do work until you give the money. That's what ransomware attack. So look at the number of yellow pins in the country, and then you have the blue pins. The blue pins are personal data that got sent to someone else. Again, if you don't give me the money, I'm not going to give you the data. And the green pin is the denial of service attack. Does anybody know what the DDoS attack is? Maybe a little too much for you guys. I'll talk about it in another slide later. And then the red pins are other major interruptions where your school system cannot even operate, or your company cannot even operate. You log in, you can't even operate. Those are major disasters. Go ahead. Why is this occurring, right? Why are they targeting, right? We'll talk about it. That's exactly what. Go ahead. You want to know why, right? I'm glad I got your curiosity up. This is a problem. We just talked about $6 trillion of loss, and look at the map is almost covered with different things that are happening. So now the question is, why is it happening, right? Go ahead. Perfect. What are the reasons? So these are the reasons why it's happening, right? So if it happens, if a cyber incident happens, then it's caused the school district to delay the start of school, cancel classes, and release of sensitive data. That's what happens. Education is targeted mainly because most our educational institutions have a lot of student data, have a lot of employee data. And those employee data is very rich, and that's why the bad guys want your data, and that's why they get attacked. IoT. Was anybody here for the previous presentation from Mr. Perry? It was so great about talking about IoT. All these different computer gadgets in our building that all connect with each other. Your phone talks to your computer talks to the vending machine talks to the. Do you all have a thermostat in your house that's digital now? See, it's digital, right? It's not the analog thing anymore. It's got all these cool dial and numbers. It's talking to a computer, meaning it really knows what the temperature of your house. You all have a Ring camera? Does anybody have a phone a camera at your front door? You do? You're a modern technology guy. So yeah, what it does is that data is going on the internet, and now someone can steal it. Right. Mr. Perry talked about, don't put your data on the internet, right? That's the best piece of advice that we can give you today. If you don't think you want to share your mom and dad to see the data that you post on Facebook or Instagram, I mean, we shouldn't say Facebook because we're dating ourselves, right? Can't say Facebook. IG, can't even say Instagram, have to say IG. So if you are putting information in IG for your friends to see, but something that you won't even share with your mom or dad or your sister, that data is out there. You can never take it back. 10 years later, you look back at the data, you're going to be like, that was me? I actually put the data out. I'm ashamed of myself. So don't put something out on the World Wide Web, the sinful World Wide Web, that you won't share with your mom. So always remember that the data is out there. It's out for someone to take. So IoT devices are all there, and they're all making our environment very, very vulnerable. The most important thing is passwords. How complex is your password? Complex? Very complex? Like your dog's name? Date of birth? Your birthday. Oh no, you got to change it, man. Don't change it. It's so easy to guess. I can guess your password in 5 minutes. I can go to IG and know your date of birth. I can guess your password. I can hack into your account. That's what your account name is, somewhere already there. You're already telling people what your account name is, what your display page name is. So change into, when systems are asking for a complex password, make sure you put a very complex password, because most passwords can be guessed. This is a true story. A school district, an elderly school teacher, she talked about her dog all the time, whatever the dog's name was, Prince or something like that. And she opened up a Facebook account. She put her date of birth in there, and here, month and the year, not the year, but I think the month and the date. And then she put her dog's name in there, and she joked about it on Facebook. So the perpetrator had to go and read her Facebook, which also, by the way, was wide open. And it took them like literally 5 minutes to figure out her password. Her email was on the district's website. So they got the email, they found the password, they hacked into her account. And by getting into her account, they got into the entire school district network, and they were able to take away all the data. Point is that as you're going to be young IT professionals, a complex password is the most important thing. Go ahead. That's a long story. Yeah. So, I mean, that's why IT departments work extremely hard to go, first of all, when someone's account gets hacked, they want to try and remove the hacker out of your environment. And then they try to protect your data. They try to protect the system. And another thing is that you don't want to pay the ransomware because you don't want to negotiate with these bad guys. So you want to make sure your data is protected and your environment is protected. Oh man. Change. Next slide. Okay. So phishing. Does everybody know what phishing means? Yes. Who can tell me about phishing? Go ahead. I'm going to give you the microphone so you can be.
Phishing is where you go through basically like you spam calling somebody and then trying to get their information off the phone.
Anyone else? Go ahead. Okay. One more. Good. You're reading the screen. Go ahead. Finish reading it. I like it. Did you all understand what he just now said? Yeah. So first of all, it sounds legitimate, right? It sounds like it's your mommy is sending you something or teacher is sending you something. The names are even perfect, right? It's very deceptive. It attracts you. It attracts you and it grabs information from you. The whole idea is it wants you to click the link. And in your Gmail, I'm telling you, you're getting phishing today. As we speak, go to your Gmail is pretty good at putting things at others or something. Everybody has got a Gmail account, right? I'm pretty sure everybody has got a Gmail account. Gmail has got so much phishing, and that's what is called as a spam. It auto detects and puts it in spam. But if it's seemingly coming from a legitimate source, it does not know, and all they want you to do click the link. The minute you click the link and provide one additional information, they got your computer, they got your information. That's opening up the front door of your house, letting the bad guy in and giving them all the information. So that's the first way how they get in is through phishing. And there's phishing, vishing, and there's many other names to it. DDoS is a little bit more complex. You can research it at another time. Distributed denial of service, basically a program that acts like there are 100,000 users that are in the system. It takes one act and it multiplies. So you see those three arrows? It multiplies and it goes and attacks a computer. So now the whole company's network goes down because it's acting like there's multiple people on it when there's actually only one person who's the attacker who is pretending to be multiple people.
It's like virus or bacteria.
Almost like that. Almost like I think we can all relate to the COVID-19, thinking that that's acted like a DDoS. Then we talked about ransomware, right? I think everybody knows what a ransomware is. Ransomware is very bad. So it starts with the phishing. You click the link. The ransomware comes in. That is really the virus, right? That's really the virus. It comes in and now it completely infects your computer. Your computer is down. And if your computer is connected to a school network or an office network, now it's going in, it's infecting other networks as well. Oh God, going too fast. Back. And then we talked about the IoT vulnerabilities. I think Mr. Perry did a great job of that. So have you all heard the word cloud? Cloud, yes. Somebody define cloud for me. Anyone? Go ahead, loud. Go ahead. No wrong answer. Like I said first, no wrong answer. Go ahead. It's network. It's an iCloud like a network. Okay. All right. We'll take that. One more. Okay. Yeah. It goes to your cloud. Okay. Okay. All of you are right. I'll add one more thing to it that will help you out. Have you all looked at your data center in your school, computer room? Has anybody looked at your computer room? Yes or no? You don't have one? Well, ask your teacher to see if you can see the computer room, right? Where all the servers are there. So in your schools, there will be a computer room where all your data is stored. Just like your own computer, where you have a picture that's stored on the computer, you can store it in your school's computer in your network. Cloud is nothing but a computer that's somewhere else. That's it. It's a computer that is somewhere else, in some other building, some other country, in some other location. That's all there is. All you're doing is, instead of storing your picture in this computer or in this building, you're storing that picture in someone else's computer somewhere else. So there's no magic about cloud. All we're taking the data and literally say, you take it, you put it in your computer in Austin, Texas, where I have no more control over that. That's what cloud means. So a lot of data is in the cloud. Gmail is cloud. So you're all using cloud right now. You don't even realize. Facebook is cloud. All your data is sitting in the cloud in Facebook, some server, some computer, somewhere in the world, multiple parts of the world. So all of these together, camera, smart TVs, cloud-based, and all of that has increased the cybersecurity vulnerability in the world. And then the last part is the data breaches we talked about. I think we talked about it, where they want your data and they want to use your data to extract money. Physical, electronic, and skimming. Physical is you print out your credit card and leave it on the table for someone to take. They can easily take the credit card information. Will mom and dad do that? They will never do that. They never leave the credit card around for you guys to use it. But companies do that. They leave credit card around in a piece of paper. Someone can take it. Someone can use it. That's a physical data breach. Electronic, we talked about stealing of the information. Skimming, you might have heard this, that on the gas station, when you put your credit card in, they come and steal the credit card from the gas station or a restaurant. So there's many ways to collect the data, but they collect the data and all they want is what? Money out of it. All right, so I'm going to summarize this to say, of doing all of this is we talked about enforcing a good password to do that, updating all of the computers with patches and regular software updates. Mr. Perry said that earlier. Cybersecurity training program. I would ask your teachers to ask if there's a cybersecurity training video that you all can watch that will explain all of this, and to make sure that you got the district is protected or the companies are protected for cybersecurity. I'm done. That's my last one. Any other questions? Yes. Yeah. I'm glad you brought it up. There is something called an acceptable use policy that your policy will clearly say what you can do and what you cannot do on the computer. In fact, you can use your school computer to go on YouTube and watch your video of whatever, can't do all of that stuff. So if you follow the student guidebook, so everybody got a student handbook when you started school, your handbook should tell you what you can do and what you cannot do with your school computer. And if you read that handbook and everyone follows through all of that, then our environment will be cybersecurity clean, if you will.
There's always Big Brother watching or Big Teacher watching. For those of you that do like go on the game, which I know none of you all.
None of you all do that. It's just for other people. Yeah. 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 All right. Thank you all. You've all been wonderful and interactive.
Thank you, Lakshmi. Thank you for being interactive and working with her and talking and asking these questions. Again, open mind to know more about what the technology can do for you. And thank you. Let's give her another round of applause. And thanks to, I want to recognize former President and President Dr. Carol Johnson Dean for being here. Let's give her a hand. And having a technological focus as well. She's also former superintendent of the Memphis City Schools, right? It wasn't Shelby County, Memphis City School. Let me get it right. All right. So thanks for her being here. We're about to break. Take a few minutes. You're in the hands of, we're going to do a bathroom break, quick few minutes. As you see, food is here. There are no allergies. Just want to make sure I make that loud announcement for, I know some students have some. If you have some, as industry professionals, there are no nut allergies, none of those are all gone. We want to make sure that it was clean and gluten-free as much as possible. So we're going to get the other students to come in, and we're going to gather. You can eat in this room, or you can eat in other places within where they allow in the museum. I think is where it's anywhere. We're going to have about 30 minutes for just quick lunch, and then we're going to come back for a quick panel discussion with our panelists. We're going to be as quick as we can. And then we'll have our keynote speaker, Mr. Tony Sharp, deliver to us a message on cybersecurity and what it means in the Black tech ecosystem that's continually growing in Memphis, and what it means for us in Memphis and the overall ecosystem when it comes to technology. All right. So, young men, as you come in, have a seat. I'm gonna ask that you guys have a seat for our industry professionals. President Taylor. You can go